All right, so now that we've got the truck inside of the garage, we need to kind of assess what we need to get for parts and things that we need to do to get this thing up into a little better shape than it is right now. I know I'm definitely gonna wanna probably get a hood because, like I showed you guys before, I've done a ton of work to the interior. If I remember, I'll put the pictures up on the screen of what this interior looked like when I bought the truck. I put a seat cover in. However, this seat cover, actually, speaking of the seat, I think I might want to replace the seat. It's super saggy and very, very uncomfortable. The interior isn't too bad. I also have a whole carpet kit for this as well that I need to put in. I didn't want to do that until I had it inside so that I can, you know, pull out the components. I'd have to pull out the seat to put the carpet in. Usually I buy my parts for this truck from LMC, which is just a, basically it's just a truck parts company that specializes in classic Chevys, and I think they do other brands as well. But they have basically everything. Like you could probably build one of these trucks just straight from their website, just piece by piece. Oh, I want to get some new cables because these ones are really trash. I guess I'll add up all the parts costs now and run them by Pam and see what she thinks. Funny enough, Pam actually really likes this truck. She's a very strong supporter of me keeping this truck and keeping it alive, and I think it's more like a sentimental thing with her because we picked this thing up, I think it was like, I've owned it probably like 6 years now, 5 or 6 years, and we went and I found it on Craigslist, drove way up north into Maine, and I brought my trailer with me on the back of my pickup and didn't have any idea if this thing would even fit on the trailer. Was just hoping it would, and it barely did. Like we had to do some fancy maneuvers to get it to fit on the trailer. It was a little sketchy, but we got it on. It was Christmas Eve we bought this, so it was like a Christmas present to myself that year. And yeah, it's just an adventure that we went on like long before, it was before we were even engaged. We might have been engaged at the time, actually. I can't remember. I think we were engaged at the time. But we weren't married or anything, no kids, and it's just like a memory that we have, you know. We went and picked this up, bought it together, and she really likes the truck, I think. So, it'll be cool. Something that I'll probably never sell, you know. I'll keep it in the family someday. Little Ryan will maybe want this, drive it around, keep it for himself, and he'll be probably like one of the only kids his age to ever drive a standard shift truck, right? I think that'll be pretty cool. Teach him to drive. I feel like I'm one of the only ones in my age that can drive stick. Like none of my friends know how. People don't know how to drive stick, and I love it. I think it's super fun. Once you get the hang of it, it's a blast. So we're having a little bit of a fire here now, just burning some old boxes mostly. But I wanted to show you guys, we had this huge limb fall in our backyard. I made one cut already because it was actually across the fire pit. But we had like a pretty good ice storm recently, and made all the trees' limbs really heavy, and I watched this thing. I was looking out the window the second this thing cracked and fell. It was wild. But luckily it didn't hit our well or anything. It came pretty close. Now I gotta clean it up. But I want to show you guys this toy I bought. I've had this a few months. It's a fully electric chainsaw, and I think it was around 300 bucks. It wasn't like too much money, pretty reasonable for a good sized chainsaw. Got an 18-inch chain on it, and yeah, like I said, fully electric. I think it's a 60-volt battery, I believe. Oh, 56 volt battery. And it doesn't take too long to charge either. And once it's fully charged, I mean, this thing rips. It's a little low on battery right now, so it's not super, like, up to full power. But, I mean, it works great. It cut through this tree like absolutely nothing. And I just like the idea of it because it's super easy to use. You don't have to like screw with any gas mixing or anything like that. All you gotta do is just put oil in the little reservoir tank for the chain and you're good to go. So I like it. I'm happy with the purchase, and I'm not doing a whole lot of cutting. Like, obviously it wouldn't be good for somebody who's like, you know, a professional tree service or something like that, but for just homeowner use and stuff like this, it works awesome. Well, mission accomplished there. There's still some twigs and stuff that I gotta pick up, but a lot of them are like frozen into the ground. So once springtime comes, we'll get them up. There's a lot more that we need to do as well. Let me show you guys. I'm not gonna do this today, but we had a lot of limbs fall, which is good because it'll be good for firewood. But this is all pine, good firewood wood that fell. Some of it's into the lawn here, but there's a lot of limbs there that fell. These pine tree limbs, they get old and real brittle. If there's any weight on them at all, even just from like normal snow, they can fall and break more towards the front yard. These twigs here, which we'll get up later. I'm not gonna do these today. But yeah, again, could have been much worse. I'm glad that we don't really have any real damage to the house or really any part of the property. And yeah, plenty of wood around to burn.